The St. Mary Police Division has seen an uptick in break-ins and robberies since the start of the year. This has led the police to impose a series of curfews in several areas in the parish.
Since the start of the year, St. Mary Police have imposed 34 curfews in a number of areas. These include Boscobel, Islington, Anotta Bay, and 3 Miles. The police say the series of rolling curfew is in response to an increase in violence associated with criminal disputes. This is in addition to a rise in break-ins and robberies, including motor vehicle thefts. Between January 1 and June 7, robberies in the parish have increased by 33%, while break-ins are up by 100%. 12 robberies were recorded for the period, up from 9 in the corresponding span last year. Break-ins doubled to 28 compared to 14 in the corresponding period in 2025. The police say the rolling curfews are not aimed at law-abiding citizens. However, they are designed to prevent further violence and protect lives and property by restricting the movement and activities of individuals who seek to threaten the safety and well-being of communities. The police are also advising residents that they will be conducting several strategic operations, intelligence-driven activities, and community engagements aimed at identifying and removing criminal elements. Residents are being urged to cooperate with the police and adhere to the curfew parameters. They are also being urged to report suspicious activities and support community safety and security initiatives. While robberies and break-ins have increased in the parish, other major crimes, including murder, have decreased since the start of the year. The division has recorded 5 murders between January 1 and June 7. That's 7 fewer than the 12 homicides that occurred in the corresponding period last year. That's a 58% reduction. Shootings are also down by 25%.
Munga Honorable and co-accused freed in murder case. Jubilation has swept through the camp of dancehall entertainer Munga Honorable after he and his murder co-accused were set free on Friday. The prosecution offered no further evidence against Munga, whose given name is Damian Rhodes, and Sheridan Gordon in relation to the 2017 murder of Cleveland Smith in Aki Walk in St. Andrew. According to local media sources, the men were freed following numerous inconsistencies in the testimony of the sole eyewitness in the trial, which began last week. The witness completed her evidence on the stand on Thursday. Munga was represented by attorney-at-law Christopher Townsend and Chadwick Berry, while Gordon was represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and Said Bernard. Man initially charged with assault now faces murder after girlfriend dies. A St. Catherine man who was initially charged with assault after allegedly injecting his girlfriend with a toxic substance during a domestic dispute is now facing a murder charge following her death. Charged is 51-year-old Paul Stevenson, otherwise called Pablo, of New Harbor Village, St. Catherine. The deceased has been identified as 29-year-old Tia Singh of Old Paisley District in May Pen, Clarendon. According to police reports, about 10 a.m. on Tuesday, June 9th, Stevenson and Singh became involved in an argument. Investigators allege that during the dispute, Stevenson used a syringe to inject Singh with a toxic substance before pepper spraying her in the face. It is further alleged that after the incident, Stevenson transported the woman to her home in Maypen and left her there. Singh later became ill and was taken by a relative to the Maypen Hospital, where she was admitted in serious condition. Stevenson was subsequently arrested and charged with assault occasioning bodily harm. However, while receiving treatment, Singh was reportedly informed that the substance she had allegedly been injected with was a toxic agricultural chemical. Despite efforts by medical personnel, she died on Thursday, June 11th. Following her death, detectives from the Old Harbor Police upgraded the case and charged Stevenson with murder. He is expected to appear before the court at a later date. As the parish continues to bleed, Divisional Commander for the St. James Police, Senior Superintendent Aaron Samuels, remains confident that his team can keep the number of murders below the 58 recorded last year. Last year's 58 murders was an impressive decline from the 124 murders the parish recorded in 2024, and Samuels set an internal target of 50 or fewer for this year, a goal he shared during January's meeting of the local authority. Midway through the year, murders are already at 34, compared to 23 for the comparable period last year, a 47.8% increase. Samuels said domestic issues continue to be a problem for the division, even as the cops work to combat other challenges that also lead to homicides. Samuels told the meeting the police are putting strategies in place to stem the bloodletting, in particular those related to domestic conflict. On Wednesday, 4 men were fatally shot during an alleged confrontation with members of the security forces said to be carrying out targeted operations in the area. On Thursday, Samuels called for greater support as he and his team work to rein in crime within the parish. Once burdened with the well-earned moniker of the bloodiest policing division, St. James shed that reputation last year after 3 other divisions had more murders on record than it did. However, so far this year, St. James is back as the bloodiest division, followed by the St. Andrews South, where 22 murders have been recorded so far. Police probe a possible link between deaths of man and woman in separate parishes on Thursday. The police are still probing the possibility of a connection between the deaths of 50-year-old Maurice Fennell and 40-year-old Kedisha McLeod, whose bodies were found Thursday morning in separate parishes. Fennell is suspected to have taken his own life in Standfast Brownstown, St. Anne, after residents found him at about 6 a.m., suffering from what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the head. Police say a Glock pistol was found beside him. He was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. It has since been confirmed that Fennell was a licensed firearm holder. Sometime later, McLeod's body was found in bushes in Nain St. Elizabeth. She was reported missing on Monday, June 8th. Meanwhile, the police have sought to clarify that Fennell is neither a serving nor former member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force or the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency MOCA. This following reports identifying the deceased as a policeman. Police say investigators have confirmed that Fennell was a security guard of Cambridge St. James. In the meantime, MOCA is urging anyone with information on the incidents to report to the JCF or to the agency's anonymous tip line at 888 MOCA TIP.
Dancehall icon Sean Paul has achieved another major career milestone after a successful run across Europe. The Grammy-winning entertainer recently completed his Timeless Tour, a multi-country trek that drew thousands of fans to arenas, theaters, and festival grounds. The tour included stops in Bulgaria, Hungary, Austria, Poland, Germany, and France, highlighting the enduring international appeal of Sean Paul and Jamaican dancehall music. The tour featured performances in cities such as Sofia, Budapest, Vienna, Warsaw, Northeim, Nantes, Bordeaux, Constance, and Hanover. Venues ranged from intimate 4,000-capacity theaters to major festival stages, attracting 35,000 to 40,000 patrons per day, demonstrating his ability to command audiences more than 2 decades after his international breakthrough. Sean Paul's manager, Steve Urchin, noted that the tour showcased the remarkable diversity of his audience, from longtime supporters since the early 2000s to younger fans discovering his music through streaming platforms, social media, and contemporary collaborations. Earlier this year, Sean Paul earned his first ARIA-A Diamond certification through his contribution to Sia's global hit Cheap Thrills, becoming the first Jamaican artist to receive a Diamond-certified single in the United States. He currently ranks among Spotify's top 100 global artists by monthly listeners, the only Jamaican artist on the list. With over 62.7 million monthly listeners, he remains one of the most streamed Caribbean artists and a leading ambassador for Jamaican music worldwide. While many veteran artists rely heavily on nostalgia, the Timeless Tour revealed a significant Gen Z audience, resulting in a rare multi-generational fan base that fuels both his streaming success and live performances. For industry observers, the tour's success reflects the continued global growth of Caribbean music. More than 20 years after introducing dancehall to mainstream audiences, Sean Paul continues to prove that great music can transcend language, geography, and time.